Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Laura and you're watching the Valentines, where we cover all things homegrown and homemade. And speaking of homegrown, look at all these beautiful homegrown tomato starts. So I'm going to be potting up and pinching 5 different varieties of tomatoes today. If you're a home gardener interested in that, I'm going to be talking about how I started them, why they moved from soil blocks into plug trays, and now I'm up potting them. Most of these are for our garden, but some of them are going to be to sell. I'm going to go through the different varieties we have and why, and I'm going to go through pinching some of them, why and why not. And so yeah, I've got about 45 minutes while my husband is with the baby, so we'll just see what we can get done here. So a couple things that I'm using is I am filling these 2-inch pots with organic potting mix. These seed babies have been started in a sterile seed starting mix, but now that they have a couple sets of true leaves, it's a good time to start fertilizing those or add them to a medium that has nutrients in it, like this organic potting mix. These are about 2.5 inch pots. I wish I had 3-inch pots, but I had ordered these like 4 years ago and they need to be used. And so I'm going to be using these to pot them up, and these are the ones that I am going to sell. This is a container that they will be sold in when it's time to sell. We're about 2 to 3 weeks from our last frost date here in the Virginia Blue Ridge Mountains. I wish I had gotten these started sooner, but being on a new farm with also renovating a home and all the other infrastructure that we're putting in, I'm just so happy that I have these to the point that they are now. So you can keep that in mind. I could have started them about 4 or 6 weeks ago. But anyway, let's do it. I've also got these just regular 10-20 trays that I'll be putting the pots in. And these are without the holes in them, and that's because I'm going to continue to bottom water these. If you're not already bottom watering, I super recommend it. It's really been a time saver and a game changer for me. Hi guys. So this potting mix is just slightly damp. I'm finding some sus things in here too, guys. A couple pieces of plastic. Gosh. Anyway, this potting mix is just slightly damp. I really didn't want to wet it down a whole lot before I transferred the plugs, and that could be contrary to like a lot of the way people do it, but it's going to be easier to push these plugs down into soil that's not damp and not sticking together. And I've got 160 tomato starts here, so you know, quick is what I'm going for. And we'll be starting thousands of seeds and potting up thousands of plants this year, so quick is good. I switched potting mixes about halfway because I ran out. So this one's a different potting mix, and you can tell pretty easily because it has a lot more vermiculite in it. All right, so the first variety I have here, these are all Roma tomatoes. They're called Virginia Select Roma tomatoes, and these are from Southern Exposure Seed Exchange. They're looking really good, really beautiful. I'm a big fan of Southern Exposure Seed Exchange. Sorry about the background noise. You can hear some of the road noise, but it will not last long. We're also getting our chimney worked on, so you might hear that too. I apologize. But anyway, they're looking good. They've got 2 sets of true leaves. And I love Southern Exposure Seed Exchange. They are located in Mineral, Virginia, which is close to me and right by where I grew up. So if it worked for them, I'm hoping it will work great for me. This is my 2nd year growing this variety, though I was in zone 9, much warmer climate last time I did. Oh, and now an explanation. I had started these in the micro mini soil blocks, the one where you get 20 blocks per stamp. This one. This is the one that I like to start most of my seeds in, unless they're larger seeds. Unfortunately, they got a little bit leggy early on, just from getting busy. I think that happens to all of us sometimes. So I up-potted them into these plug trays, and they look phenomenal. So that's why they're in the plug trays. And I usually don't like to use plug trays, but this was a time that it really benefited me to have them on hand. I'm wondering if I should pop these out from the bottom or try to, yeah, I'm gonna have to pop these out from the bottom. So that's super annoying. That's one of the reasons I don't actually like to use plug trays. So let me go grab a pen or something to do that. The rest of these are actually popping out a lot more easily. So I'm just taking a couple fingers, spreading the soil, and then popping the plug right in here. So why are we growing Roma tomatoes and in such a large quantity? For canning. So one of my goals this year is to can copious amounts of tomato sauce. I can tomatoes every single year, but my family now has a pretty standardized meal plan throughout the week, and we have a homemade pizza night as well as a homemade pasta night, and I also do a big batch of soup or like some braised roast beef, like carnitas style tacos, and all of that takes tomatoes. We also love ketchup and barbecue sauce. So one of our food preservation goals is just to make an obscene amount of tomato sauce this year. So that's one of the reasons Romas are highly recommended for sauce and canning, because they're more pulpy. They have less liquid that you have to bake off in them. Oh yeah, this is going super fast now. So I just have my system where I'm using a pen on the underside of the plug to pop it up, loosen it. Boop. There we go. And then I've created the divot in the middle of the pot that I'm just sticking it down into. Easy peasy. And that's why you don't want to like fill your pot with a lot of wet soil, because then it will be hard to stick the plug in. Okay, so also we're growing San Marzano, which is another good one for, oh, I forgot to mention salsa. We eat an obscene amount of salsa, and in fact, one of my videos called Canning a Year's Worth of Salsa is one of my top videos ever that I've made. And I had to buy Romas from another farm in order to do that, because I didn't have them planted that year. And so we'll definitely be doing a huge run of salsa again too. Okay, my first tray of 32 Roma tomato starts is done. I'm just gonna bottom water these. That went really fast once I popped the plugs out from the bottom using a pen. And let's keep going. In total, I have about 40 Roma tomato plants potted up. And now I'm moving on to Chadwick Cherry. Check them out. So I've grown this variety for 5 years, I think. It's an heirloom variety. These are from Baker Creek. It's the same seed packet, actually. I went ahead and finished the rest of it. Excuse me, got some soil in my eye. These are prolific. They are bush variety, cherry tomatoes, absolutely delicious, and they go crazy. In fact, every year I say, oh, I'm gonna prune these more aggressively so they don't get crazy bushy, and I seem to get behind on it. They're that prolific. So this is a great one for fresh eating and for salads if you are interested. So let's get these babies done. So just something subtle that you notice, and it's actually not subtle at all. These have a much stronger smell. They smell more like that typical vine of a tomato smell, which happens to be one of my favorite smells. So they were just a lot more fragrant than the Romas. And I love those little subtleties that you get to know when you grow your own food and your own plants. And I've grown those for 5 years, and it's the first time I've really stopped to notice that in comparison to other tomato plants. So I don't know. I just love those little findings. It's gardening is a way to learn for the rest of your life. Oh, I hate when I have one odd number. So I also want to mention about the Chadwick cherries, because they produce so much. We only need a few plants for ourselves. So I'll probably only plant like maybe 5, 2 for us for fresh picking, a couple that we'll sell at the farm stand when we finally get that open, and then the rest of these plants will be for sale. You big helper? All right, I've got my best big helper back with me now, so got some little stations set up for him, and he loves helping with gardening. Okay guys, next up, all of these on this side of this flat are San Marzano. I got these because I've heard that they're popular with customers. They're also a plum style of tomato that is great for canning, and they're originated from a region in Italy, and they're just kind of a beloved variety. So canning for me, hopefully popular to sell, it starts with the customers. All right guys, I'm running out of pots, so I just went and raided the basement. I always save pots if I buy anything from the store that's already started. So I've got about 10 more pots here. I will probably place an order for more 2 or 3 inch pots, because I've got to finish the San Marzanos. But another variety that I'm really excited about is this one here. This is German Johnson. And German Johnson is a slicer, and it's also from Southern Exposure Seed Exchange, and it's gotten a lot of great reviews. This will be my first time growing it. I only started 15 because we only need a few slicer plants for ourselves, and then we'll sell the rest. Canning is really the focus of this whole operation this year. And something about the German Johnsons, they're definitely indeterminate, meaning they'll keep growing, whereas determinate varieties will grow a certain size and then stop. But the indeterminates will keep growing and keep fruiting. So what I'm gonna do with most of these is I'm gonna pinch off the top, leaving the cotyledons, and then it will grow 2 main leaders where most of the fruit will grow. I'm not going to talk about that extensively because I've never done it before. This will be my first time trying it. So I'm probably going to do half and half. I pinch a lot of the flower varieties that I grow, so the concept is not new to me, but this will be my first time doing it with tomatoes. So part of the reason I want to do half pinch and half not is I just love the experimentation of it and seeing like the difference. Are you helping, baby? Let me give you this. And then lastly, the last variety, so I had 5 varieties this year. These are all Amish paste. Amish paste is another one for canning, keeping with my trend. I grew these about 3 years ago and they struggled a little bit. So, you know, if anyone wants to, I do have some extras that I'll probably sell, but I'll just be upfront with people and say like, hey, if you have experience growing this variety, great. I am new to it. And just explain to them I'm growing it because it's been so highly recommended as a canning tomato. I'm trying to think, Roma tomatoes, I read today that some are determinate and some are indeterminate. So I need to look at that because you really only want to be pinching the indeterminate varieties according to what I've learned so far. So I need to research these specific ones that I got from Southern Exposure Seed Exchange and see if they are good to pinch or not. So that's what I'll be doing. I have 160 tomato plants here all together, and I hope that you guys will subscribe and stick around for another video because these will be going into the ground in several weeks from now, or just a few weeks from our last frost date. And if you have learned anything from this video or any of my other videos, or just appreciate the context, consider supporting this channel by hitting the super thanks button and giving like a one-time tip. I'm working towards monetization, but it's slow with my little one. I don't always get to film, and I'm not chasing an algorithm. I am filming the things that I am interested in and things that I think would genuinely be helpful to people. And because of that, my channel might grow a little more slowly, and that's totally fine with me. So if you can, hit the super thanks button. I appreciate that. If not, please subscribe and come back. It's a super free way to support this work, and I just look forward to hearing from you guys in the comments and seeing you on the next video. Thank you so much for being here. Have a lovely day.